Welcome to the porch. Pull up a chair, sit back, relax, enjoy the show. Now here's your host, Michelle Barras and Brian Swanson. And you're on.
Hi, my name is Michelle Barras.
I'm Brian Swanson.
And we are Denim and Pearls. We are business casual.
With pearls of wisdom.
From the porch.
From the porch. How is everybody today? It is a beautiful day. It's supposed to be like 95 degrees today. It's crazy nuts. So I hope you all have air conditioning. If not, drive your car around and spend all that money on gas. I think she's lost it now. Anyway.
Thank you to our sponsors.
Thank you to our sponsors first. Is that how we do that? Okay. Yes. It's all you.
Thank you so much for our sponsors. A2 Promos, that's A Squared Promos. Go to a2promos.com for all of your swag needs, be it from family to business. The next one is Ink 182 for all your embroidery and screen printing needs.
Such a hard word, isn't it?
Embroidery actually is. For bags, t-shirts, jackets, hats, you name it, they can do it. Then Harmonized Brain Centers for all your brain needs. So basically anything that deals with your brain, and that's your entire body, kind of FYI. So go to harmonizedbraincenters.com and find out what they do and how they can help you. Your brain controls everything in your body. So something to think about. I was breaking out in hives all the time, and I went there and we.
Well, you said your brain is your body, and I'm like,
no, your brain controls everything. In your body. And then, of course, we have limeevents.com, Lime, Lym events.com for all your outdoor fun needs here in Colorado. Just go there and find out about the next fun run walk that they're doing. Yep. The next one is embellishedbutterfly.com. Bling everything and anything. So if you have someone that you want to give a special gift to, or you want to buy a lot of special gifts that customized for your business, go to embellishedbutterfly.com. And now,
if you want to advertise with us, or you want to get into our mid-roll and all those other things that get the most attention and such, please contact us over at denimandpearlspodcast@gmail.com. Of course. Okay. And if you want to listen to us in your car or on your Siri or on your Apple or on your whatevers, what's that other thing? Alexa, you can find us on any of your favorite podcast formats.
Yes. So look for or say, hey, Siri, play Denim and Pearls.
Yep.
Or play, catch us, whatever. You know how that is.
Yeah. We know how all that goes.
Yeah.
And of course, we cannot forget about September 25th. If you haven't got your tickets, you better get them because they're going. So,
yes, and we've got people coming from around the United States, so this is a lot of fun. You'll meet new people, and we'll have some fun networking with a lot of other people who kind of dig what we do, like you do.
Dig, that's an old term, isn't it?
You kind of dig like you do, like
so
we do.
Don't be square.
Daddy-o.
At least we didn't say gag me with a spoon.
Yet. So thank you so much for joining us on Denim and Pearls. If you are watching this live right now,
you're awesome.
Well, you are awesome. But click the little share button and say, come on over. Come meet my friends Michelle and Brian. And if you haven't noticed, Brian is wearing a purple shirt. And I'm wearing a shirt that complements the purple shirt.
Red. It
Nathan.
Ain't happening, Nathan. I'm telling you now, it is not happening. For those out there in the podcast world, Nathan says, so when am I being replaced?
When is Brian
going irreplaceable?
When is Brian getting replaced is what he wrote.
Yes, I am irreplaceable. She'd have to do it all on her own.
Oh, please don't make me do something on my own.
Anyway, Nathan's coming for me. Yeah, especially considering he's had our two highest viewed shows. It's amazing.
He's the highest show, and when he came and joined me on Mental Shift on TNC, it's one of my highest rated shows.
Yep.
So is it me and Nathan together, or is it just the presence of Nathan? So maybe Nathan, you should just start your own podcast.
Maybe I should grow a beard, then I can look like him.
Nathan Cook Coaching, people. If you're wondering who we're talking about, go to Nathan Cook Coaching.
Oh, there's a plug. Outstanding.
And thank you, Heather. My hairstyle today is called Still Wet. I just got back from the gym. She said,
Can you bottle that?
she says, your hair looks great.
I know, but can you bottle that?
It's called,
My hair looks great because I just got back from the gym.
it's called wet hair.
New product.
Yeah, it's a new product. It's the Wet and Wild look.
Sassy. Anyhow, are we going to talk about our topic tonight?
Our topic today is heart of glass. And that came up because
it seems so fragile of a topic.
Yes, very fragile. And we were talking about it because last week, well, a lot of things have been happening lately. And we came across that thought of us, a lot of things happen every day that can break us.
Mm-hmm.
And Brian's like, got a heart of glass.
Well, some of us have a heart of glass that's like really, really thin and can break and shatter and just go, and it's all over in little bitty pieces and trying to pick it back up and put it back together. This is symbology, by the way. But trying to put it all back together is a really, really, really tough subject. The other side of it, okay, then. The other side of it is somebody's got one of those really thick glasses, like, the bottom of a beer bottle that's really, really thick. So it can break. However, it's not going to break very easily. So that's kind of where we're talking about today, right?
Yeah, because in my thought process, glass, when you look at a glass, I need a glass. I don't have a glass. Hey, give me your glass.
A glass.
A glass like this.
Voila, look at that. You ever been there?
No.
That's a great joint. That's a really cool place.
Stop. So anyways, if you have a glass, all of us start off as a plain glass. And then as things happen to us, we get cracks, we get bumps, we get nicks, whatever. Now, what is more beautiful? A plain glass without the bubble thing, whatever this was on here. But when you meld it back together again, glass melded back together is like a mosaic, right? The different color glass, the different little patterns and things like that. What is more beautiful? The plain glass that's never been broken or the one that's been shattered and put back together multiple times?
Stained glass with lead.
Yeah, stained glass with lead. You become stronger in the points that you're broken at. I talk a lot about this in my talks, so don't let me get on the high horse because I won't let him speak today if that's what I do, because it's a really big deal for me. A lot of us have broken hearts from not just relationships, but from someone saying something mean to us, or we perceive someone as saying something mean to us, or we didn't get that job promotion, or someone picked someone else as their partner on a podcast, whatever that is that breaks your heart. You have to remember that you can be melded back together and become stronger from whatever that experience is. Right. And Brian's like, yeah, I don't have such a tender heart. Don't break so easily.
I refuse to break. I mean, a lot of it times, I think some of it is the fact that we like to express our broken heart. Sometimes we need to express it.
We do,
but
always
for the most part, it's a mental game. And if you can play that mental game and you can repair your own heart without, involving everybody else, in other words, posting all over Facebook that, somebody broke my heart or I didn't get picked for this. I don't know. But anyway.
For those of you who are only listening on the podcast, there's a conversation happening in the thread, and it's like, oh.
Yeah. I really don't have a choice going on here.
Don't break.
I'm not going to break.
He's not breaking.
I won't break. So anyway, I think it's a lot of it is a mental game. It's trying to bring things back into perspective. And sometimes we even make miscalculations on what people are intending.
Yes.
Okay. So sometimes you'll get something and it's just like, it breaks your heart and racks your nerves. It torques you off. And then all of a sudden, oh, well, that's why that happened. And so now if it makes that repair so much faster and so much easier, since we're talking about a broken heart and broken glass.
Now, what was my quote that I love to say about Byron Katie?
Control.
There's
three things.
3 types of business or control in this world. There's my business, the other person's business, and God and the universe's.
Right.
And usually when we have that broken heart and we feel like we're hopeless and whatever, it's because we're trying to control someone else's feelings. If someone doesn't like you, then they don't like you. their loss, right? And that's really how we have to look at it. It's like, I can't control what the other person's thinking.
But I can. I can be an influencer. I can tell you what I want and what I expect from you. So I can repair my own heart if you've broken my heart by explanation.
The thing is when someone's made an opinion of you, there's nothing you can do to change it.
I disagree with that, though.
You can attempt, but when just to break through that barrier, what is it worth? Is it worth the energy of pursuing that one person to like you?
Well, that becomes a whole nother question. Does that person belong in your life anyway?
Exactly.
But still, saying. I mean, if that person is in your life and that person's always going to be in your life or whatever.
Oh, then you need to repair it.
You've got to try and attempt to repair it, but you've got to at least make the attempt. And to make the attempt, it comes through conversation and explanation and communication.
Okay, well, that's not what I'm going at.
That's what I'm going at.
I'm going at with someone breaks your heart. And I'm not talking big break like relationship breakups, like this person. I'm talking about heartbreak where, they didn't invite me to play ball with them.
Well, I was always last picked on the side or the kickball team. They
didn't invite me to go for a drink, last night. Whatever that is, it's a casual kind of, oh, I feel crappy. Or, no, at work, so-and-so got this job and I didn't, and I think I deserve it. Then you can go talk to the manager and say, what can I do to improve? But if it's a superficial, I feel left out, let it go.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, let it go, because life is too short to pursue people who don't find interest in you already.
But what if I'm energized from that stress? That's what motivates me. That's what makes me move.
I seriously doubt that's a good way to get a heart attack is what it is.
And ulcers.
Yeah. Yeah.
Uh-huh. Perception, that is a big one. Thanks to Aaron there. Perception is always a perception because we look at things from a different perspective. And then if we, like I mentioned earlier, if somebody throws something in there, well, the next thing you know, the problem might go away because now you have an explanation that you never thought of.
Well, and I want to go back to what Brian was saying when he says it's about communication and convincing basically somebody that they should like you or bring them towards you. My perception on that is that's wasted energy. If someone has made such an effort to attack you or to change other people's opinions of you, they've already made a very hard conversation in their own head. No matter what you do,
I can still convince them not to.
No, they're not going to listen to you because they've already degraded you to a level where they don't care.
Well, I don't have to care either, but I just can always change.
But you must care because
I can change the perception.
But that's the thing is you don't talk to that individual. You talk to the people around him and say, you make your own decision.
Right. But sometimes you've got to, it's advantageous for you to change that opinion. Because let's say you're doing business with somebody, they really don't like you, but they don't really know you either. So now you want to cater to them or kiss their whatever in order to make them like you better or at least accept you better so that you can accomplish business.
When I talk about communication, people make an opinion of you in the first 3 seconds they meet you.
Well, then everything else is mute. That means second opinions don't count.
You can eventually convince them, but it takes a heck of a lot more effort. So that is why my motto is always be the best version of you every day. If someone doesn't like you in the middle of that, when they meet you, you have a story where someone met you during a con and you were really stressed out and focused and you didn't see anybody and you were really moving. Now, you didn't go, that person's like, man, he's a jerk.
Well, part of that is I was unaware of the situation.
But see, that's the thing. You didn't have to pursue this person to go tell them anything was wrong. One day that person came back and said, okay, I've been watching you. You're not the jerk I thought you were.
Yeah. Well,
see, let that happen.
Let's cover that right after the thing, because it's a little bit more of an extended story than that. We'll cover that a little bit more, but I was not brokenhearted.
You weren't brokenhearted
because I didn't know.
Thank you for joining us on the porch. We share the nuances and lessons we've garnered from throughout our combined 40 years of life experiences. Talk from the porch is always serious, but full of laughter, and we're glad you're here with us.
like, share with a friend, and please subscribe to our Facebook page and our YouTube channel. And remember, join the conversation every Friday at noon Mountain Time. We'll see you on the porch.
Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back. There's my song for the day.
Welcome back to the same old place
That you started from.
Oh, the dreams as you turn around. I can't remember. I'll have to think of another song.
Welcome back, Kata.
Yes.
Yes, if anybody's old enough to remember that.
I am.
I am too.
So anyways.
It's actually a great show.
No, and Erin pointed out something like when we were in Florida, she was so convinced that someone didn't like her. And I said, no, don't. It's a situation where people are under a lot of stress. Don't make that judgment call off of somebody in a stressful situation, because you never know what's really going through their mind. I mean, you can meet me in a room and I'm like focused doing something, and I'll do just 1 minute. I'll just put my hand up, just a minute. And I do that because my brain is functioning the way it functions. And if you interrupt me, my brain is gone. I'll lose it all. So I'll just do just a minute. And I've had people do, you're so rude when you put your finger up like that. It's like, I didn't mean to be rude. It was actually, you were being rude because you interrupted me in the middle of something, So it's like, we can look at that two ways, but don't judge people in a stressful situation as who they truly are. That helps in that whole heart of glass thing. You get your heart broken because you're like, man, they don't like me. No, they didn't see you. They're too busy focused on something else. Don't judge them at this moment in life.
Well, before we go back to the story I was going to talk about, isn't it always, I think it's always the thing that you always have to be nice no matter what the situation.
You have to be pleasant.
There's no room for rudeness.
I say pleasant and not nice, okay? The reason I say that is I've had many people do things around me or towards me, and I'll say, put a smile on my face, dude. That is completely unacceptable in my presence. Yeah,
but you have a knack of doing it in a nice way.
Yes.
Some of us don't.
Yes.
I mean, I'm a real stickler for people being considerate. I think that's the word you just used. I'm a real stickler for people being considerate, and it really bugs me when they're not. However, there are certain situations that call for us all to be inconsiderate at times, I think, even though we should be considerate. And that's where that story comes in. I was at our event, and of course, 4 days, because most people don't realize that when you put on a large event like we did, I started on Wednesday for the event to start on Friday. Okay. Now, not to mention the year before all of that, but this particular stress starts on Wednesday. And then by the time you meet somebody on Saturday, your brain is in one place. You've got horse blinders on. You don't care about anything else. And you try and be nice, not to mention no sleep.
Get her done.
And when somebody meets you, it's like, pleasure to meet you. And then you're quick, you're short, and you think you're polite. Well, what happened in this case was that, and then about 2 years later, about a year later, I guess, this guy meets me, and he's like, after about a week of doing whatever we were doing, he's like, you realize you're really a nice guy.
It took me 15 years to recognize that Brian was a nice guy.
I'm like, what do you mean I'm a nice guy? He says, yeah, the first time I met you, you were an old ass.
15 years, people.
So sometimes second and third impressions help.
Yeah, I'm not.
But I think it's your perspective too.
But it's perspective and their impression. You going to someone, if he had come to me and said, Michelle, why don't you like me? And approached me, I would have hated him. I would have pushed him so far out of my mind that he would not be sitting next to me right now.
Well, the other side of it is I didn't know you didn't like me.
Exactly. And so that's the thing, is always be the best version of you, because you don't know when someone first meets you and does, ugh. And then after a while, they meet you again and again, and they see you from afar and they watch and they do, oh. Because I've met people who have told me, hey, when I first met you, you were a jerk. I said, a jerk? They do, yeah, you're so bossy. And I said, I am? And they're like, yeah, you were on stage and you were telling everybody, you rock, get up there and go do what you want to do. And she's like, I heard you say that. And I'm like, how pretentious is that? And I'm like, what? And she's, yeah, I thought you were being pretentious because you were telling people that they're perfect just the way they are and just go rock the world. And I'm not perfect and you're not perfect. And I'm like, I didn't say we were godlike. What I said was, be the best version of you. Don't think that because, one eye is smaller than the other, or you've got a mole here, or, you've got a little extra weight here on your hip, whatever it was that I was worried about at the time, made me not beautiful and perfect in my own way. And so that's what I was talking about. And that's what she figured out later was I wasn't saying perfect people are great. I was saying be perfect and love yourself as you are. And if there's something that you want to improve, then improve it, fine. But she completely misconstrued a segment of one of my speeches and made a judgment call on me as an individual. And it took her years of watching me to realize that what that little segment she heard when she was walking past the room, what it really meant. She took it out of context. So remember, your heart of glass, when you get hurt, remember, did you hear something out of context? Did you take in the full picture? Did you take in consideration the person that did something to you or what happened around you? Was it really against you? Or did it just feel like it was against you because of the emotional state you were currently in when you heard it?
But I think it's easier just to sit back and mull in your own troubles.
It is much easier, but it's miserable. It's a good way to get an ulcer. It's a good way to have, get sick.
Well, alcohol takes care of that problem, right?
Exactly. Don't do that.
Let's see. There's alcohol. There's anything that takes your mind to another position. Then you don't have to worry about the troubles in the world, right?
Like a bridge over troubled waters, you should not drink and smoke it away. No, you talk about it.
I was waiting to see where that song was going.
Well, because
anyway.
Because you just told everybody drink, smoke, and
be merry.
Mute out your problems. No. Realize that it's probably a perception issue with you. Is it, Byron Katie's quote, is it my business, their business, or God's business? Am I trying to get into their head and change their mind?
I think it's nobody's business.
Stop trying to change other people's mind and change how you perceive what's going on. If someone who says something that they don't, my son said it once. He said, I heard that someone was bullying him in school. And I said, I heard, so-and-so was bullying you in school. He goes, oh, that. I said, how are you feeling about that? He goes, I don't care what they think. I know that's not me. And I'm like, whoa, that's the biggest, most adult thing I've ever heard from a 10-year-old, right? Yeah. So think of those kind of things. Sometimes when people have an opinion of you, does it really matter? If it's business,
I think that's a yes and no concept.
If it's business, then you want to worry about it. But if it's just somebody at the grocery store who lives like that, forget it.
Yeah, I think there's exceptions to that rule. I really don't care about the guy that's driving down the road who flips me off.
Yeah, let it go.
Except for the fact that I wonder what the hell I did.
Yeah.
I wonder what I did.
But people mull on those kind of things. People take those kind of little things that happen in their day and let it shape their entire day, their week, their month, their whole perception of who they are and what they can achieve. What I'm saying is, you know who you are. If you're the best version of you every day, don't worry about other people and their opinions of you, because their opinions of you are shaped by their opinions of themselves. Because I say that when I put my book out, Eat, Drink, and Be Merry, I did my TEDx. People were writing comments, eat, drink, and be fat, you lard ass. And I was like, what?
That's pretty rude.
It was really rude. But if I let that opinion shape me, who would I be right now?
I'm kind of laughing in the sides here while you're being really, really serious.
I'm very serious.
On your high horse, because Nathan is over here. He said something about riding out the horse. And then he also said that you were shy when you met him or met Bartholomew.
I was.
So, well, I think part of the conversation too that we're dealing with today, I mean, we always talk about this in business and we talk about it in life. And I think all of this applies to everything. It applies to all of your dealings with any people, anybody, any person out there. Okay. The other side of it is too, we talk a lot about our own broken heart. That's what we've been talking about, is how we deal with it. Well, what about putting that, breaking somebody else's heart?
Yeah, when
the
like,
opposite
well, like
perspective
in,
to this.
in business, when you don't give business to someone you know. Have you ever done that? And I felt guilty because I wanted a product, okay? But I knew the person I knew only had a very limited knowledge of the product and probably wouldn't stay in the business.
Mhm.
It was just a perception. I knew that he wouldn't stay.
Right.
But I knew this other person had been there for quite a while, knew it inside and out, and knew they were there for the long haul. So instead of giving business to my friend and helping him with his business, I knew he was only going to last maybe 6 more months. He just really didn't care. So I went to the other person, gave my business to that other person and said, I need you to keep me going. Now the other person said, well, why didn't you come to me? I could have done it. And I said, I know you could have done it for that moment, but I need you 3 months from now, 6 months from now, a year from now. I need you to be able to grow with me. And you're doing this as a side business and it's going to stay a side business. I need someone who will keep me running as a business. And he went, oh.
Right. Well, I also think, you've heard the Little Red Wagon story.
Sure, go ahead, tell it.
The Little Red Wagon story basically says, I'm pulling a little red wagon. If you picture the little red, what do you call them? Radio flyers. And you're walking down the street and you're going somewhere. And in this case, you have a destination in mind. You have a success in mind. And you want to bring people along because that's part of who you are. So you say, jump in. Well, if they don't jump in, that's kind of on them, ain't it? You know, if they don't jump in that little red wagon and go with you, so bad, so much. So, you know, what do they call that?
Too bad, so sad.
Too bad, so sad. Yeah, exactly. That's the perfect scenario. And, you know, when Linda and I were working with our networking business and stuff like that, we had things in mind. We had ideas of where we were going. And we told people to follow us, get in our little red wagon and go. But, you know, it's really kind of amazing how many people don't. Mm-hmm. But in the, you know, along the subject of Heart of Glass, there's a lot of people who did not get into it, but then look at you and their heart broke because they didn't follow you.
Yeah. And I've seen a lot of that. Oh, Marcel points out something.
What's that?
Well, Marcel points it out. Don't you go to commercial yet?
I'm not. I'm looking for something.
Okay. Marcel and Nathan both said something. So Nathan said that I was shy when I first met him.
Yep.
I was a different person. And he was with me when I grew and found who I was. And that's why I'm so dang determined nowadays. The other one is Marcel. When I first met Marcel, I saw her at a networking meeting and she was crying like a baby. She came up to the front and she says, hello, my name is Marcel. And I'm really going to miss everybody. And she just started crying. And I'm like, this is one incredibly emotional human. I cannot have this woman in my world. And I did. I said it. I even told Marcel that you were way too emotional for me. And then I'm like, you know, I'm being kind of mean because she's such a sweetheart. And everyone in the room was kind of crying with her that she couldn't come back. And so I waited. And I came and talked to her about her. She does a Touchstone by Swarovski. Okay, jewelry. And so I went and talked to her about her jewelry and she starts talking. I'm like, I need to give her a second chance because the people around her loved her. And then she was a bubbling mess, which I avoid high emotion like that. Okay. So, because I don't deal with it very well because I'm very logical. So it's like, what are you crying about? There's nothing worth crying unless someone's dying. Okay. And you don't really have to cry about that either because there's better things on the other side, but that's a whole nother side. Anyways, Marcel, I'm so glad I was able to give you a second chance because now we're always together. You're my Staccarazzi, aren't you?
Staccarazzi.
She's my Staccarazzi.
I'm actually reading her post. She's a standofish.
She's a standofish?
Yeah. See?
Oh, standoffish. She has the same problem I do. People see us and when we're talking or walking, our heads are kind of high and our chins are up and our shoulders are back and we're just kind of looking. And I've been told I was bougie or conceited.
I didn't know what that word was until you brought it up. Bougie. What the heck is
Because I'm usually
bougie?
dressed. I'm wearing heels, tend to be wearing heels. I tend to be wearing, you know, pearls or diamonds. And I sit there like this and I watch. And so when people see me and my nose is up in the air, they do, oh, she's so standoffish. And then I smile and they do, okay, maybe she's not.
Well, I think there you go again. I mean, you're talking first impressions sometimes. When somebody sees you across the room, that's a first impression. I've got the same problem because when I get into, I shouldn't say it a problem, but the same kind of body language, when I get into a thought mode and nobody else, I'm paying attention to nothing else around me, or I'm analyzing things, I get that real.
No, he gets resting bitch face is what he has.
I didn't want to say that.
I'm saying it because that's what he has. He gets this
That's
look.
not nice.
He gets this look of stay away from me.
Mm-hmm.
And I get a look of
snooty. Stay away from me.
That I'm unapproachable. But those of you who know me and listen to me and see me smile, you know I'm everything but unapproachable. And now that you know Brian, he's nothing but unapproachable. And it's just, we get into our thought processes and Brian and I think a lot. Yes, and you can add Nathan to that too. And Aaron. Oh, wait. And Marcel. Well, never mind. Everybody
has to think.
But no.
We have to analyze things.
But when Brian and I think, we'll be looking right at you, listening.
Mm-hmm.
And then someone will go by us and we'll do, oh, is that a such and such and such and such? What size is that? I wonder what color is. How fast is? And our brain starts going at like Mach 9 on a completely different subject that we have to force ourselves to stay. And then as soon as we break loose, we do, God, I wonder where that car went. And so don't judge us for being ADHD.
ADHD, okay, I get it. I mean, squirrel. But I think I have a tendency to analyze when people are telling me things.
Helene says I have class.
Oh, nice.
Thank you.
Voila. So no, I have a tendency to analyze when people want to know an answer, or even if it's what's for dinner kind of a thing. I have a tendency to stop, think, and analyze. And that's where my face becomes unacceptable at times, So it's all that judgment call, but I'm not out there to offend anybody. But there are people who do get offended by it.
You're as cold as ice.
Yes, sometimes. But I also turn around and I'll analyze something in my head for 2 days, and then I'll go back and figure out the answer. It's just like I was solving a problem today with electrical equipment and sound system and all this other kind of stuff. I've spent the last 3 days trying to figure out the problem with why I've got something. And I finally found the problem. Once I found the problem, I had to analyze and figure out what was the best solution, because the price of solutions were anywhere from $5 to $300. Which one do I need? Which one is most beneficial for me? I do that all the time. I do it with relationships. I do it with everything.
Stop
that we do.
Thinking so much.
It's me. It's my nature. I have to think about it.
Because I'll go to his house and he'll have this look on his face. I do, are you here? Well, I'm kind of running 5 things through my head right now. Well, then choose one of them, solve one, then work on the next one. Well, I've got all 5 of them going in my head. Stop thinking about all 5.
Well, it makes it easier sometimes.
Unless they're interrelated, don't think about them all at the same time.
Well, if they're not related, that makes it easier to think about all 5 at the same time.
I can't see.
What?
Well, Helene says, what does our brain
have to do with this?
Oh, our brain has a lot of things to do with it.
Our brain is everything.
It's the machine that runs all of it. So if your brain.
Well, she's probably asking what that has to do with Heart of Glass. I'm going to guess.
Oh, that's true, huh?
We did kind of swerve off of the topic. But
well, no, we didn't, because Heart of Glass. When you get broken, when you get hurt, or when you react to something and it just doesn't feel right, it's your brain processing from your state of awareness. So our brains will play tricks on us. Basically, it'll say, so like with me, with Brian, I met him over about 15 years ago or so, and
I keep thinking 15 years ago was a long time.
It was.
That's crazy.
Anyways, I met him a long, long time ago, and my brain associated him with someone else in my world, someone I didn't like from college. And so instead of my brain allowing me to ever get to meet him, my heart broke and said, I can never be around this person because he's scary. So it was my brain that told me he was scary. And I never looked in his direction, never smiled in his direction. I would drop my kids off his house in regret because I didn't like him, And so all these things that my brain put in, it made a whole storyline around this guy. And until I forced myself through that storyline and said, okay, what about you? Should I know? Because my brain hates you.
I'm awesome. I'm handsome. I'm sexy. And I'm smart.
I didn't go that far. You're my friend.
All those words all encompass me. Egotistical, is that the other
I
word?
think egotistical works too, but he's actually very patient, very kind, and very good at looking outside of the box and problems. So with my heart of glass, when I was hurt, that my children loved being at this guy's house around his kid, and I'm like, my heart's breaking because my kids are like, Mom, we're going to go over to Mr. Brian's house. And I'm like, why? So my heart was like, no. And my brain's like, no. And then I had to rationalize myself back out of it to realize that there was something good there. Because my kids have really good senses of people. And they were telling me, Mom, you're wrong. So allow your brain to process whatever it needs to process. But realize that sometimes it's putting another memory and attaching it to the new memory. Does that make any sense? Or did
It makes a lot of sense, but it's awfully serious.
I'm very serious today. I mean,
I see that.
Brian already accused me of that when he walked in. He goes, you look kind of melancholy. I do.
Ooh, that's a good word.
I've got a lot going on in my
Did I
head
use
right
that
now.
word?
No, you didn't. I did.
Oh, I was going to say that was impressive to use a word like that. That's where that smart in me comes in.
It didn't. That's the funny thing. Well, thank you so much, everyone, for joining us on Denim and Pearls.
Don't forget to like and subscribe to us over on YouTube, Facebook, Rumble, and don't forget to share.
Yes, that's
We
the big
must
one.
share. We must share.
Because remember, our biggest issue right now, well, one, is we need more people following that YouTube channel so we can change our name to Denim and Pearls on YouTube. We're so close, but still so far away. And then, of course, you're so far away.
Oh, I started something.
Yes. Anyways.
And don't forget about our live podcast or our live show. Our
That's
live
what I
show
was about to
on
say.
stage in person. And we can share all kinds of different things. We can get into much deeper into some of these topics and we can answer questions and we can do all of the kind of things. And you get a dessert bar.
Not just the dessert bar, but we're also giving away a coaching session or two with Brian and I. So if you are interested in getting that, winning that, because only 2 people are going to get them in the room, sign up. Come to Denim and Pearls Live here in Colorado Springs on September 25th. The ticket link is just Denim and Pearls Live. If you're on the Denim and Pearls page right now, just go to events and click the live.
Yep. Or you can actually go to our website. It's all up on there. denimandpearlslive.com. Yep. And of course, we can't forget to thank our sponsors, a2promos.com, ink182.com, Harmonized Braden Centers, Lime Events, and Embellish Butterfly, because they're the ones who help us make this happen.
Yes, they do. Thank you so much to all of our sponsors. And if you'd like to be a sponsor, please go to Denim and Pearls podcast at gmail.com. Write us and say, hey, I want to be one of your sponsors. And more importantly, if you want to be that mid-roll, do it. What?
I got to step back.
What?
Say hi to John. John just he joined us.
Delusional.
He says Brian is delusional. Well, he didn't really say Brian's delusional, but I was using all those other words, so John threw in delusional. That's probably a good word.
He was delusional. He also thinks he's like 6'4" or something too. So
who does? I do?
you think you're taller than you are?
Well, you have to be a tall man to
That's okay. I think I'm 5'10", so.
So hi to John. Hi to Erin. Erin's got her ticket. Y'all make sure you get your ticket, and we will see you next week.
Thank you. Oh, wait.
What? I almost did it. Oh, that part.
Peace.
Peace.